Hey everyone, how you do tonight? It's me, Kessler. Woo! OP-06 reveals. Let's get to it. So, remember how the very first card we saw for OP-06, the Zoro and Sanji set, you'd expect some support for both of them to be the first things you see? No, but instead we got a new Yamato, green-yellow leader. And now everyone was freaking out because of the built-in double attack and attaching up to 2 rested on to one of your characters for free. If your opponents are 3 or less life. Well, they should be afraid because that shit's unbalanced. Ugh. Yeah, I will keep on saying this and everyone agrees with me. That shit's unbalanced. Well, I guess Bandai gave a justification for that. Oh, by the way, I made a video on this. Just so you know. I'm gonna let you all know now. Yeah, you should check it out. I think they're pretty cool. I think support that is. I think the support here is pretty damn cool. But that's neither here nor now. Yeah, well, Bandai, as I said, seemed to have given a justification for Yamato having that effect. Because as you see here, these 3 Wano support cards have no trigger counters. Have no counters. I don't know why I said trigger. I just meant to say counter. They got triggers because they're yellow cards. So yeah, we're good on that. But I guess this is Bandai's way to try to balance the card out. But anyway, let's read it. I've been looking forward to new yellow Wano support ever since the Yamato Stark deck came out. So anyway, Denjiro, 5 cost 6,000 / Wano Country Akazaya 9. 2 Dawn. If your opponent's life is at 3 or less, this character cannot be KO'd by effects. And the trigger effect is, if your opponent's at 3 or less life, you play this card. And with Yamato, that's going to be very easy to do. Overall, I think this card's pretty crazy. It counters red. It's a form of removal, if I'm not mistaken. No, red just lowers power, if I'm not mistaken. Or they can actually do both, I think. I think Ace can do both. I know Whitebeard does removal. But this is... I'm just going to restart that. I think it's just a black counter. Because of the cannot be KO'd by effects. So... with 6,000 power, but 2 Dawn off of Yamato's ability, he's going to be an AK booty. And, yeah, I think this is pretty good. And then you got Kawamatsu. Kawamatsu, my favorite of the Akazaya 9. Ga-ba-ba, ga-ba-ba. Ah, you're so fucking wonderful. I love that little laugh. But anyway, 3 cost 5k, power with slash. Fishman, Wano, Akazaya 9. When attacking, you may discard 2 cards, return up to 1 of your 0 power characters to the top or bottom of its owner's life face up. This is actually a lot more broken the more I read this card. Because I read this card a bunch of times today, and I could not think of anything until I read someone say, hey, we could take our Momonosuke, the Searcher Momonosuke, after, say, it did its effect to search, and put it back into life so our opponent cannot KO it. And that just made me instantly click, like, going, oh my god, this shit's crazy. This card's crazy. Like, this thing's obscene. Oh, And the trigger effect is the same as Dangerous if your opponent's 3 or less play the card. This card's crazy. This is cool and everything, but this is probably the most busted out of it all. Bandai, bro, you're literally pushing this deck. You're making this deck super fucking pushed. You really want people to play this deck. And I'm pretty sure there are people who have already proxied these 3 cards in the leader and are testing them out. And it's a 3-drop too. It's a 3-drop to be able to do this. So you could just get this thing out like I believe turn 3 if you go first. Or turn 2 if you go second. So, pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Lastly, we have Okiku. 4 cost, 6,000 with slash. On KO, if your opponent's at 3 or less life, take the top card of your deck and put it on the top of your life. You don't get to put it on the bottom this time. And the same as the others with the trigger effect. This is not bad. It nets you free life. I would like to imagine this card's going to be played as some like Katakuri or Enel or Arlong. Yeah, Arlong's a yellow deck, green and yellow to be exact. So Wano Arlong just became a little more tempting right there. But overall, all 3 of these cards are fantastic. I can wholeheartedly see the Yamato deck literally being a threat when it comes out. But that's months away. But in the end, if we get more incredibly good yellow Wano support like this, I still think Yamato will be a threat. If not a big threat, maybe a high tier rogue deck, if anything. Because this card, specifically Yamato, let me go back down to her for a minute. Of a card like Toneyasu, if I'm pronouncing his name correct, the guy who died by Orochi with the smile fruit. The shortish guy with the big round head with the big old giant smile, who resided from Ebisu Town. His effect already lets you give one of your Wano, lets you already give one of your Land of Wano leaders or characters 3,000 power. So just imagine, you use this effect. You put Dawn under Denjiro, 8, and then Toneyasu's effect, 2 additional Dawn, 8k, 8. Let's see, 7-8 off of the Dawn. It becomes 11k off of Toneyasu essentially, off a combination of Yamato and Toneyasu. This shit is not to be looked at behind. This is a all-in, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to take you out early deck, just from the looks of things. And well, it's just an example of power creep. Let me know how you feel about Yamato in this support. I personally am going to be playing this deck when it comes down to English and of course on the sim. And in the IRL game when this set releases in English, if Okiku gets an alt art, I'm going to be getting it. Because it's Okiku. And she's my second favorite character in Wano. Oh, excuse me, she is my favorite Wano character. She's my second favorite Akazaya 9 character. But overall, really good job, Bandai. Really good job. this was a pretty interesting way to balance out the Yamato by removing all counters from these yellow Wano cards here. Let's hope you keep it that way. Let's hope when you make a new Odin and a new Kinemon, and maybe even maybe a new Hiyori or even a new Izo, let's hope it's also balanced. But overall, I think this is pretty good support. Good job, Bandai. Good job. Taking one of my favorite characters in Wano, just one of my favorite One Piece characters, and making her deck seem pretty good. Anyway, all that being said, I'll see you another day or night.